Hello, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net, and in this video, I'm going to show you 2 single strategies to play like a pro. Please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Even share this video with a friend, as those are the best ways to support this channel. All right, I'm so excited for this video. I'm going to teach you 2 simple single strategies, and I'm going to give them a name so that maybe it makes more sense and you can remember it. Very simple. It's called 1-1 and 2-1. It just means how many shots you're going to hit into each corner. So 1-1, we all know this strategy, right? And this is you hit one ball to this corner, and then you hit one ball to that corner, and you're just moving your opponent back and forth, corner to corner. Now, this is a great strategy for, tiring out your opponent, and you get a big target. It's a great strategy to use, but you can't always use it because when you're back behind the baseline and you hit into the open court, on the previous shot after they hit, your opponent is moving to the center. They're already moving this way. So they're moving the direction that you're hitting. So the players often get to that ball. Yes, they can sometimes hit a weak ball back that you can attack, but generally speaking, when you use the 1-1 strategy, your opponent has an idea of where you're going to hit it, and they're on their way to go over there to try to get that ball. So that's the 1-1 strategy. I think most players know that who play singles. They think, I'm going to play keep away and just hit the ball back and forth. Now, when you establish that, and when you do that enough, then you set up the opportunity to do what's called a 2-1. And that just means that you're going to hit to the same corner twice consecutively before going into the open court. So it looks like this. Very simple. You're going to hit the ball into the corner, or you pull your opponent off the court. They hit the ball back. Well, we know their momentum is going to be carrying them back to the center. So they're moving this way. Because of that, we can use that to our advantage, and we can hit behind the player. They then have to struggle to get that ball back. They'll most likely hit a weak ball that then you can hit the ball into the open court because you'll be farther into the court generally hitting into the open court. So let's check out some high-level singles players, and I'm just going to let you watch the point, and I want you to figure out if the player used the 2-1 strategy or the good old 1-1 strategy. Now for context, the player at the top of the screen, the server, is the one executing the strategy. I want you to notice. So, did you notice what the strategy was? He used the 2-1 strategy, but the 1 was actually into the same corner again. So let's check this out. Rallying back and forth. Now here is a great shot, a nice deep ground stroke into the back corner. So this is where he moves his opponent back and off the court. So right here, the player at the bottom of the screen is moving back to the center of the court. So he's going to use that to his advantage, and he's going to hit behind him. See this? So now, player at the bottom of the screen, that's actually the UCLA player, he's completely out of balance and off the court. So now the player at the top of the screen gets the ball. Now we could go right down down the line into the open court, but he actually chooses to arc it off the court, again, behind the player. So he used the fact that the opponent was moving back to the center of the court, and he hit behind him. Let's check out the next point. Again, for context, it's going to be the top player executing the strategy. I want you to notice. All right, so which strategy? Was it a 2-1? Was it a 1-1? It was 1-1. So he hits the return down the line. And now he comes forward. Now he could, if he wanted, hit behind that player. But he chooses to hit into the open court. You don't want to just do the same thing every time. You don't want to do just 2-1. You don't want to do just 1-1. You want to mix it up so your opponent never knows what you're going to do. And then he ends up hitting to the open court and winning the point. So here, again, he could have gone behind, and it would have been just fine. But he's choosing into the open court just to make sure that he's doing kind of 50-50. Half the time he's hitting behind, half the time he's hitting into the open court, really getting into the head of the opposing player. All right, for context, the server is the one executing the play. Is it 1-1 or 2-1? So if you said 2-1, you were correct. So they start rallying back and forth. And right here, that's the first shot into the corner. So he hits a cross-court ball into his opponent's backhand. Now he moves around it, and the player at the top of the screen has to be worried about an inside-in forehand. So he's moving back toward the center slightly. You're going to still be offset a little bit to bisect where the opponent can hit the ball. But he's worried about the down the line. And the baseliner here at the toward the camera is going to use that to his advantage. He's going to hit behind the player at the top of the screen. There's the second shot into the corner. We can see how much trouble that player's in. So then, player at the bottom of the screen gets the short ball, and he rips it down the line for a winner. So that was 2 shots into the backhand corner and 1 shot into the open court. And now our last point, and it's going to be the returner who is executing the strategy. So you're probably getting better at this now, right? You can already notice it. So the returner hits a great return off the court, pulling the opponent completely off the court. And now he decides, instead of going into the open court, which most players do, well, your opponent in this scenario is going back to the center of the court. So you'd actually be hitting back where they're going. So he ends up hitting behind the opponent, getting the opponent way in trouble. Look at this. Oh, stretching. And that ball ends up going out. So a big thank you to Matt Lynn for allowing me to use that footage. I put his link in the description below. Please give him a subscription. So it's cool to see those strategies being used by really high-level players. UCLA and UC Berkeley, these are super high-level tennis programs. And the strategies that they're using are quite simple when you look at it not from an entertainment standpoint, but from more of an educational standpoint. So if you are here and you hit a ball into the backhand corner of your opponent, so you hit it over here and you move them over and they hit, it's a good idea, obviously they're over there, it's a good idea to hit into the open court. And that's just called the 1-1 strategy. You're hitting 1 shot into one corner and 1 shot in another corner. If they get that ball back, then you go into the other corner. So you're just doing the 1-1. The 1-1 is great for going for big targets, and it also tires out your opponent. And in the same scenario, you can hit that same ball into the backhand corner of your opponent if they're right-handed, right? You can hit this great shot into that corner. We know that after they hit that ball, that they have to move to the center of the court or near the center of the court. So we know their momentum is going one way, and we get to hit that next ball into that same corner, hitting behind them and winning a lot of easy points. And that's called the 2-1 strategy, because you'll go 2 shots into one corner, and then if they happen to get that ball back, they're so out of position and off balance, they hit short, then you hit the 1 shot into the open corner. Again, there are variations of both of those strategies. But if you start using the 1-1 and 2-1 single strategy, you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.